Welcome everybody to our monthly partner marketing call and meetup and meeting virtual. Inez will be our very first guest that we've had. And she will be speaking about partner marketing attribution, which is a big pain point for a lot of folks in the community and a big pain point overall. So I'm so excited to introduce Inez Pomper. She's Senior Director of Revenue Operations at Visiting Media. Her background, however, she has lots of experience actually working at cybersecurity companies like Signet and Checkmarx, working in the RevOps function and leading RevOps teams and leading RevOps. And that's why we're so excited to have her on today. So I know you have a presentation and some things to share, so I'm going to cede the floor.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much for the invitation. Yeah, and I have worked with Katie before, so it was, if Katie is asking me to talk to someone, it's like, absolutely, always will do that. It was a great journey for us together, so we have done some cool stuff. And now I can share. Gianna, can you help me? Yeah.
Sorry, security. There you go.
Okay, awesome. Now we can just here. So yeah, super excited to be here and share what I have learned, so you don't need to do it as well. So basically the theme of the day. But yeah, I have been here at Visiting Media for a little bit, but have been in different operations roles for my past 13 years. As also Gianna was mentioning, in cybersecurity specifically for past 7 years. Have been lucky enough to be part of startups that got acquired. CloudLock was one of them. Also, security side, we got acquired by Cisco. That was an excellent exit. So then the next one was Checkmarx, where I was for almost 4 years. And we also got kind of bought by private equity valuation more than $1 billion. So that was also awesome story. And then I met Katie at the last of the cybersecurity journeys at Signet. So within a very short time, we did as well a lot of things and making also kind of journey into US. What I have learned my past 7 years in cybersecurity, without channel, you're nothing. Even for the small companies, if you haven't figured out how to get into channel, unfortunately, your success is definitely very, very different, right? So channel is super important. Not every company has dedicated channel marketing teams. So if you are anywhere, partners or channel marketing, that's awesome companies, and then it means they understand what it actually means to work with you guys. So, and that it's very important to invest in that, right? I am showing off my great Revenue Maverick jacket that I was knighted by one of the vendors I worked together on the revenue operations project. So that was awesome. Other thing, just as a context, I'm a little bit kind of, this is my last day before I go for a little vacation or working from Europe. And I just wanted to show off where I'm going. I'm going to Latvia. I'm Latvian, so there's my flag somewhere there. And I'm going to this huge song and dance festival that happens only every 5 years. So, and it's just going to be like 18,000 people who are going to be singing on the stage, and I will be one of them. So I'm like, this is my last presentation, then I need to do last minute checks on the bags. So I'm fully here. You see, this is super important for me. I wanted to make sure that I talk to you guys as well. So let's talk about channel marketing. What does it actually mean to measure these things, and what is kind of what I have seen in my past. So it's very interesting when we are talking about ROI on marketing side overall, right? Sales is easy. Whatever bookings you are, you claim on your number, you get your payment, you depending how you close your quarter. Similar is on channel sales as well. Very simple. Deal registrations. Sometimes I see companies have this, you 100% confident. Oh, hi David. And that's another one. Channel sales is also pretty straightforward. They can claim the credit whenever. The tricky part is with marketing and with channel marketing, right? You're doing so much work, but it's like you need to prove yourself. What does it actually mean? And my channel marketing and marketing itself, I have spent, when I joined Checkmarx, was actually with this dedication I want to figure this out. So that was my 4th year fully blown. I was like, I will measure everything and I will prove and I will show you how we can measure these things. So that was my dedicated stop, going away from being generalist of revenue operations, helping all departments, sales, marketing, customer success, to just focusing on marketing operations, and channel marketing was part of that as well. So I did everything what is possible to use all the tech stack, what is possible to make sure that we have the visibility. And I was working actually also very closely with the CEO of the company who wanted to have this visibility. So he was supporting me. You build whatever you need, you get whatever resources you need, but I want to have this insight. And everybody wants to see $1 in, at least $10 out, right? That's the revenue ROI they want to see overall. So if you haven't built any kind of basic model, that will be definitely one of the first things that you will want to build for yourself. And when we are talking about the marketing impact overall, and here I kind of modified the channel marketing specifically, what I want to see always is, where do you fit between sales, marketing, SDRs, channel sale, and separately? What are you generating when you're generating pipeline, and also what you're closing, right? Closed one. So though I will always suggest to have this as a standard 2 views: pipeline generated and then pipeline what actually business, what was closed. So those 2 data points, I would say conceptually they understand, but they mix them up all the time. So you need to be very, very clear how you're communicating, because whatever you created, it doesn't mean that it's closed, or whatever it's closed doesn't mean that it's coming from this quarter. It might have come from last year, whatever campaigns people mix up very quickly this kind of terminology. The timeline, it's like they understand it, but it's not their day-to-day. They turn around and they forget it. So I would say this is the standard. Here, unfortunately, what you need to do, if you are one of these people who represents the department, it means that you need to go and have almost like a workshop. What I was doing, I was actually in Israel for this exercise. I got my SVP of sales, I got my channel, and I had my marketing team, and I was representing kind of holistic view of everyone. And we needed to negotiate who is going to get credit and when. Are we talking here about timeline? What's important is marketing did, or channel marketing did something 6 months, a year, or if there is a deal registration, do they get the credit automatically, or then or slicing and dicing? For channel marketing and channel or any other, sometimes I will introduce something kind of like a split. Who gets a credit? It could be your purely channel marketing because you organize a webinar and you got to connect new names from that. Or it could be that you did something together with another team and then you just split the credit. So what in this chart, I have a straightforward, but very often I will have introduced kind of splits. But that means that you, in this case, if you're designing something like this, you need to make sure you have your Salesforce admins in place because they need to implement the logic. And then also that it means that just in this case, the single source, no one is a winner. Everybody is winning something, losing something. So in this credit, no one is really, the single source is the most awful metrics that you can have. But unfortunately, we are all stuck with it because no one in industry has developed anything better. I have worked with, not sure if any of you are working together with from Forrester, the Serious Decisions consultants, and and that's exactly what continuously we're saying. There's nothing better than this developed. The multi-touch, it doesn't give the granularity. And I would say, especially when you're talking to executive team, they understand that there is more than one thing happening in order to create the deal. They get it, but then they turn around and ask, so what is the single source? Right. So they conceptually, they understand that there is we were measuring in this case, in order to create a pipeline, it took at least 6 touch points from marketing and, SDR, at least 6 touch points. They understand it, but they turn around and it's okay, who do we give the credit here? So this, I would say, be very careful how you're splitting, negotiate, but this is a dangerous view to have if your budget is tied to it. Make sure your finance team does not tie budget to this, to this view, because this is very, very misleading. If you don't have a strong leader who is advocating for you, you're going to be losing. So in this case, sometimes it's great if you have somebody in the RevOps who is not tied to any of the teams and who can advocate for each of the departments. That could be very useful. There is another view which I like much better, which I would suggest every team to it's like a separate view just for you. This is like when you need to align all the 5 departments together and somebody needs to claim the source. But this is the other view, is where you just look at the impact of channel marketing alone. And here, sorry, a little bit blurry, but here the view is more like, in blue is overall pipeline created. This is just a standing, whatever we have in our system, this is what we're having. Then the green line is pipeline impacted. So channel marketing did something. You had a webinar, you had like a trainings or something, you impacted this opportunity. And this actually view is, you had something going on before pipeline was created. So it's not during this is not pipeline acceleration. This is, you help to impact the pipeline. So you did these activities, these campaigns, this training, whatever you did, it happened before pipeline opportunity got created. And then, and then only everything acceleration happened. And then the third one, the light blue, that's the last touch, which is the source. And you see what's a huge difference, right? From overall pipeline created, right? You have channel marketing in this case, right? It contributed almost in every pipeline opportunity what was created, right? But if we looked only at the last touch, look how it drops, right? So it's like it drops like from 75 to 30% or 40% or 30, like, so it's a drop is huge. So if you're judging your contribution to the business only by this, you will never be able to claim more budget for the next year. If you're coming from this point of view, I know we were not the last touch before it converted. And some of the campaigns, and I know that world too way too well, some of the campaigns that you do are actually not meant to be pipeline. They should be awareness. You're just building brand awareness, and there will be never conversion, or it's only at the top of the funnel, the people that just come in, and you're just building your database. So those are not even conversion campaigns. I will stop, Jana.
And this, Amy has a question. In this chart, is the green section overall marketing or channel marketing in particular?
In this specific, again, marketing should have this view and channel marketing should have the same view. You would not the same view. You should have like a view just for channel marketing. So like marketing team will have their impact and you should build your impact. And I would say, we will cover a little bit tips and tricks. I will measure everything through campaigns. Everything should be in campaigns, and then you can you build this attributions. Awesome. So let's see. Any questions still here? Okay. Awesome. So overall, on the multi-touch attribution models, everybody's familiar, right? Whatever model you choose. But again, this is negotiation between you and marketing team, and which model, and sales team, and which model you prefer to use. Again, I come back to the same thing. What I see in my past, they understand that it takes multiple things before opportunity gets created. But then at the end of the day, they're still looking for the single source. So whatever you're choosing, unfortunately, it's more inside to you, to your team internally, to learn what has more weight or not. If you do content syndication, maybe the weight will be very small, much lighter. And if you do any webinar demo requests, those will have a little bit more weight. There are multiple models out in the world. Apply any of them. I have used Lean Data, was awesome. I have used Visible in past as well, has worked as well, but then you need to have contacts. You can't use Lead. So there's different pros and cons to each of the tools. Everybody's promising to give you everything, but none of them do you already know this by now, so not surprised overall. So let's see, what else did I have? When it comes overall, why are we doing this again? I think we always need to realize, who are we talking to, right? Who are we talking to? Who are all the stakeholders? What are they trying to do, and what's their mission, right? Is overall, first, let me state back that what I have seen through 7 years in cybersecurity, if they don't work through channel partner, the company cybersecurity don't work through channel, they're not going to be successful. And if penetration into those bigger, especially the channel partner, it's necessary. But what I see with the startups, especially the new up and coming, they are just not there. So they do need to do the mix. Theoretically, it should be, sales team, channel sales, basically channel, the marketing, channel marketing team, and that should be good enough. But because those smaller startups, are still developing, they need to have the mix of everything. So I think when you go to negotiation table, you always need to remember one thing. Sales, they don't really care how the pipeline gets generated, as long as they have enough demos, as long as they have enough people to talk to. So they don't really need to fight, for the credit or pipeline generation. They will close the business. That's what they care about. And similarly, I think also the channel salespeople is like, as long as there is a deal registration, they can prove they will get the credit. And again, their commissions are tied to it. The tricky part is between channel and the marketing team, again, because you're fighting for next year's budget. If you didn't prove that this tactic works this year, next year you're just not going to get the money, and that's the end of the story, right? So I always say, just come with that thought in mind, and maybe also kind of educate, like, on the side, your salesperson or your channel salesperson, but like, they don't need to fight for the credit as much as you guys need to fight for it, because if you are not showing, then the next year the budget is not going to be there. And one thing we did very really diligently at Checkmarx, and also at Signet as well, was that we were trying to make sure that there's some kind of accountability. If I'm doing this tactic, is this webinar or this show, is this training, hey, AE, what are you going to bring? I will help you. I will give you the air coverage, or I will even actually do the booth for you. But what do you think you're going to bring? I'm spending here 10K. Do you think, are you going to get back the 100K that I need to justify to have this event? And I think this kind of shift on the accountability and how that they are bought into these tactics sometimes help. No, not sometimes, it helps, because otherwise they just go, they do the booth and then come home. None of the opportunities are put in Salesforce. None of the attribution to marketing is tagged properly, and then you're losing the visibility. Next year you're going to pitch for the specific tactic, and there is nothing to show. And that's what I remember with Katie, when we had this little bit issue as well. I was like, oh, there is no budget, so how can you calculate ROI? So everything needs to be measured in Salesforce. Track the budget, track what AE is promising to deliver. So next year you can measure as well. Okay, I see there are questions. So I will let you, Gianna and Katie, help me to monitor the questions.
Absolutely. I'm going to jump in when I see someone who has a question, or people raise your hand and unmute. Katie has a question.
I'm looking at you, so that's all.
Perfect.
I do have a question, because it's a common thing with every channel marketer, which is the struggle between channel marketing attribution and marketing attribution overall. And then I think it was the slide before, you were showing kind of how the mixed model of attribution doesn't always work. Like, do you have recommendations for channel marketing? Let me give you an example. What often happens is channel marketing would do an activity with a partner for joint customer demand, right? So they're driving joint demand, and then fast forward 6 months, general corporate marketing does an activity, and that's attached to a campaign as well. Do you have best practices for how channel marketing can articulate their value in those conversations with marketing?
Yeah, I would say definitely have a dedicated campaign just for you. Whatever you're doing, campaign, like for every touch point, have a campaign. Make sure members are added. It's all stamped there. That's the only way how you can show the full visibility. If you're trying to use the field on opportunity, which gets overwritten by latest thing, they will never see what you did. So I would say I was like, every single lead that was actually added to Salesforce by SDR sales, marketing channel, but everything was going in dedicated campaign. So you should like really religiously add them to different campaigns, different tactics, and then use tools like Lean Data or Full Funnel or something just to show your portion. The chart what I was showing between overall marketing and last touch, exactly the same. They will show their story. There will be overlap, but don't even go fight for that. You show your story. I would say that that's what happens when we start fighting. The unfortunate part is that you need to go and explain it to executive team, but everybody understand that it takes more than one tactic in order, more than one approach to get the account. That's what the story you're telling. So you disengage a little bit, stay away from the whole fight, just show them what you have. It's just the same way how sales is showing, these are my bookings, or channel is showing, these are my registration. And the same what you can do is showing just your impact. I see channel marketing, we were there, but I know marketing did there as well. I don't disagree, but we were there as well. Just the talk maybe, okay, and here you don't even need to think about the timeline. You were there. It doesn't really matter when it happened or not, but you were there. Now it's a second, the single source question. Then it's a timing question. Who was first or who was last? That's a negotiations. But your impact on overall pipeline, just have your channel marketing dedicated view. Any other questions? Did we miss something? Let me have a look. See the same thing. Okay, yeah, perfect. So okay, let's see what else did I. Okay, so this was what I was pulling in usually my channel, channel marketing and channel overall. Sometimes I need it to be when sales teams are now very specific on target accounts. And what I'm like, want to kind of encourage a channel marketing team as well, be part of that exercise. Don't wait for them to come to you to give the list of hey, here are the accounts that you should be helping us to get into. And I hope they give you that list. If they don't, go demand that list. Every single company in this world, in this decade now, is like, they know that we need to focus. No one has unlimited amount of money now. Everybody wants to be very specific, very targeted. And teams talking together, figuring out what is this strategy is really important. Just make sure that you are there. If you don't have enough powerful somebody who can vouch for you, make sure at least you get the list. So you are not, what I saw once we were going through this transformation was that, can you imagine sales SDRs are focusing on one thing and they're like all the efforts and everybody's going there, and you're doing something different and you're delivering them leads and nobody's working because everybody's focusing right there. So make sure you're with them and help them to push and with the targets. And then it's also a nicer story, this holistic story, how we all went together after this mark together, better together, that kind of concept where you are really as a team, you're shifting away from this, hey, channel marketing needs to bring us completely something different. No, we're doing this together because we can see it's much more efficient when you are doing together. So that would be one thing I would strongly recommend. Sometimes even marketing team doesn't get the list till the end. Is like, what was the point? SDRs are already off working on it. Marketing or channel marketing can help get the contacts and really make an effort there as well. And actually, very often I see there is a channel AE who can give to the partner that list and say, hey, what's your relationship there? And then we can figure out what kind of campaigns you can do together with that specific partner. So very powerful when it's done correctly. As I mentioned before, track everything in campaigns. That's your single place where you can track everything. Nothing gets overwritten. It's there. It's forever there, and you can slice and dice it. Make sure that it's really tags them as channel marketing campaigns, that it's not blurred in, as you said, Katie, before, with marketing, that it's really your dedicated campaigns. So then you can slice and dice and see the impact. If you have tools like Lean Data or any other who can help you then show the attribution to the accounts and to opportunities, that's excellent. But even without that, not sure what size of the companies, even without that, it's a good practice to start doing it till you're big enough where you can invest in these tools. So that will be just a really, really good habits. We talked a little bit before as well, accountability from AEs or channel AEs in this case, what you work together. Make sure you are not alone doing campaign. Very often, or campaign or tactic, very often you are trying to do something, but you don't have really the backup. You did all this work and then it's nothing. Nobody put in opportunities. They talked to people. They took the cards. They didn't put in Salesforce, or didn't wait till you put them in Salesforce. So they already have done something. So it doesn't look, you can get the credit. So that kind of thing, stay on top of it, document as much as possible, and put them. I liked on the campaigns. I like always to track what is AE thinking he will get out of from this event or webinar. I like to track it. It's awesome to see. Oh, he thought it will be 10 opportunities and he brought one. It's a kind of a little bit not shaming, but putting them a little bit on the, hey, you said you will do this, so let's do this together. And then the second thing as well, what I for this specific campaigns, webinars, or events, I would encourage you to follow up. What's going on? Ask questions. And that's what I see very rarely. I know everybody's busy, everybody's jumping to the next thing. We don't have time, but it's almost like pencil in, postpartum, like you have the one which is 2 weeks, but have another one, like or monitor, have your own dashboards or reports, but where you can see what really is happening. And if it's not happening, why not? Was it wrong audience? Why are we not converting these things? What is happening there? And if there is a specific trend going on with a specific tactic, then you're just like, let's talk about it. Maybe it's not really useful for you as well. But marketers not pushing from their side, following up. I see it's not only, it's also marketing side themselves. So that, I think it could be a good place where you could be improved. And yeah, as I mentioned, if you have resources, invest in something like Lean Data or anything that can show you the attribution. If your company already has, then make sure you pitch the channel marketing is tracked separately. You are not bucketed with the marketing, and it's possible. It's possible. We have done it in past. And then, I have used BoostUp. BoostUp is more forecasting, but they also track all the activities, emails, and all the touch points. But Lean Data is the core application that does it. I think this is it. Yep, that's it.